If you're looking to learn everything there is to know about supply and demand, then you've come to the right place. In this presentation, you'll learn how to graph the two, and the non-price variables of each, and how these will affect the graphs. Let's begin by looking at a supply curve. As you can see, quantity and price are directly related. This means that as a good becomes more expensive, more of it will be produced. Or as price increases, so will quantity supply. Now let's look at a graph representing the law of demand. Here, quantity and price are inversely related, meaning that as price increases, quantity demanded will decrease. Or as a good becomes more expensive, less people will want to buy it. The point at which the supply and demand curve meet is known as equilibrium. This point displays what the price and quantity of goods in the marketplace will be. In the economy, the supply and demand curves are constantly shifting. What could be responsible for all of these shifts, you might ask? Which variables affect supply and which affect demand? These are both excellent questions which will be answered shortly. It turns out that all of these shifts can be attributed to the non-price variables of supply and demand. For supply, these include technological advancements, input costs, expectations, number of sellers, and government regulations. For demand, they are expectations, taste, income, market size, and price of similar products. Now, let's look at some examples. In Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Charlie's father was replaced by a machine that could put the caps on toothpaste tubes more efficiently than a human. Which non-price variable supply does this represent, and what would the effect be? The answer is that this represents a technological advance, which would result in an increase in supply. The supply curve would shift to the right, creating a new equilibrium point with a lower price and a higher quantity. Now let's think about what would happen to the supply of Nike goods if the minimum wage was increased globally. This is assuming that Nike employees only earn the minimum wage. This is an example of an increase in input costs, which would lead to a decrease in supply. The supply curve would shift to the left, resulting in an equilibrium point with a higher price and a lower quantity. Now, let's talk about demand. What would happen to the demand of sharks with laser beams attached to their heads if the price of military submarines suddenly skyrocketed? Since the two are substitute goods, the demand for laser-equipped sharks would increase. This would result in a new equilibrium point with a higher price and a higher quantity. Now, let's look at the demand for cigarettes over the past 2 decades. As TV advertisements have shifted from glorifying cigarettes to condemning their use, what has happened to the demand for them, and why? The answer is that the demand has decreased due to a decrease in taste. This is represented by a shift of the demand curve to the left, resulting in an equilibrium point with a lower price and a lower quantity. Although there is still much more to know about supply and demand, hopefully this presentation gave you a good overview of the two topics, how they are affected by non-price variables, and how they are graphed. Thanks for watching.